Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll be diving deeper in the concepts of Forex basics. And I received a lot of questions yesterday on how to identify support and resistance and trend lines and trends and all of those things. But in this video, I'll make sure by the end of this video you understand everything, especially Forex basics, guys, before we dive deeper into the advanced stuff. So let's start on support and resistance. A very simple way to understand support and resistance is you have to mark your zones. You can use rectangles to mark your zones, and support is basically a zone that the market fails to break below. On that zone, it will sometimes create a double bottom or a W, depends on what you want to call it. It will sometimes create three touches on that zone, which people call a triple bottom. It's up to you what you want to call it. And that is how you identify the support. And how do you identify a resistance? A resistance is a zone that the market fails to break above. So in that zone, it will do the opposite of what a support does. It will create a double top or a triple top. That's simply how you identify support and resistance. So when it comes to support and resistance, a support level can turn into a resistance, and a resistance level can turn into a support level. What do I mean by that? As you can see over here, the market created a triple top, and then it broke below. It came back to be a resistance, as you can see. Now support has turned into a resistance in this scenario over here. The very same thing can happen if you have a zone that is a support level that was respected. It can turn into a resistance. As you can see, this resistance over here is now a support, and hence you will be anticipating buys from that zone right there. All right. So this is very easy to understand. It's very simple. You have a support, you have a resistance. So resistance is a zone, is where the market fails to break above it, and support is when the market fails to break below it. So let us not waste any further time and dive deep into the concept of trends. I received a lot of questions on how to identify trends. So a very simple way is you start from the bottom, especially if you are identifying an uptrend. It starts from the bottom and it trends towards the upside. It will create patterns where you'll see the market turning on resistance, turning on support, turning on resistance, creating new supports. It's as simple as that. The market is just trending towards the upside. That's how you identify an uptrend. Vice versa for a downtrend. The market will start from the top, it will go towards the downside. It creates new highs, new lows, new highs, new lows, and it'll just simply be a downtrend. That is how simple it is to identify an uptrend and a downtrend. All right. So on an uptrend, you'll realize that you also see support and resistance being formed. As you can see, that is a resistance right there, and the market will break above it, come back to retest and give you a support level. That is where you'll execute buys. All right. So a resistance can turn into a support if it breaks above it, and it will push towards the upside. It will come back to retest. If it's on an uptrend, it will retest on the uptrending trend line. It will break above the previous resistance and come back to give you another support, that is another zone to execute buys right there, and it will push up. So that is how you execute buys on an uptrend. You look for zones that the market will respect. All right, you execute buys on the higher lows. And if you have an uptrend, the market will create higher lows and higher highs. It will create higher lows and higher highs. And you know that on the higher lows, you're looking for buys. The mistake a lot of people make is try and sell the market on an uptrend. That is the biggest mistake you can never make, guys. If the market is uptrending, you are looking for buys. If the market is starting to be a downtrend, you are looking for sells only. Unless the market breaks out of a trend, then you can start changing the direction you are looking for on that specific trade. All right. So as you can see, the market will create higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, especially if it's an uptrend. All right. It is very important to identify the resistance and the support if you are looking for buying opportunities, because that is the area you are basically focusing on. Everything else doesn't matter, guys. You don't need to focus on anything else, especially if you are looking at an uptrend. You are looking for zones that you can execute trades on. And when you are looking for a downtrend, you have lower highs and you have lower lows. The very same thing. You're looking to sell on the lower highs because that is the area that is more accurate to look for selling opportunities. On the lower lows, you can just draw your horizontal lines to identify the support levels or the strong resistance zones. So you're looking to sell on lower highs. Once the market breaks above the lower high, that is an indication that the market is changing direction, so you don't enter the trade. You're looking to sell on strong zones and you're looking to buy on strong zones. You should all know by now what is a buy and what is a sell. If you don't know that, I can't explain something so simple, then you shouldn't even be watching this video, because that means you still have a lot to learn if you don't know how to buy or how to sell. Because someone once asked me, what is trading? How do you buy? Which app do you use? Guys, you use a MetaTrader 4 or a MetaTrader 5, or you use TradingView to analyze. You can also open a broker, any broker of your choice. I recommend XM. You can use Just Markets, you can use Derive, you can use any broker, as long as it's not a South African broker, guys. If it's not a South African broker, you can at least try that broker out and trust it. Because these South African brokers don't even pay withdrawals. They don't even... You get off codes on fundamentals. You don't want to experience that, guys, trust me. So as I was explaining here, on a downtrend you have lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. And you can just identify your downtrend by simply looking at the market and what it's doing. I advise you look for the trends on bigger time frames, for example 4 hour, one day time frames. You'll have a clear vision of what the market is doing, whether it's uptrending or downtrending on the bigger time frames. When you're looking for those accurate entries, candlesticks, doji confirmations, then you can go into the smaller time frames. All right. So when you are looking for buys on an uptrend, you just have to execute on the higher low where the market is turning. If it's an uptrend and it's on a higher low, or it's on a support level, you execute. You want to make sure you execute accurately. Don't execute on a higher point, because if you execute on a higher high, the market will reverse. You have to execute on a higher low and then target the next high. vice versa if you're looking for sells. You short position, you execute on the lower high. If you can see here, we have an inverse head and shoulders. All right. So on an inverse head and shoulders, you're looking to execute on a strong resistance zone. As you can see, that is a strong resistance zone and it's a lower high. That's good to sell. That's where you execute sells. If you miss that entry, it's fine. The market will give you another entry. As you can see, it gave you a lower low and it came back to give you another lower high, gave you another strong resistance. That's when you execute sells once again and you target the low, the next low right there. All right. This is the importance of having your rectangles and drawing the resistance and support, guys, because it can show you the zone that the market will respect. It will show you a zone that the market will turn on. All you have to do is mark your zones and execute on the retest. That's it, guys. You don't have to complicate things, especially if you're still a beginner. You don't have to complicate this thing, guys. It's as simple as that. Wait for a retest, execute. Wait for a trend, wait for a retest, execute. Use a tight stop loss and let your winners run. If you cut your profits short, you'll miss out on the big movements because the market will move. It could take days for it to hit your take profit. If you close in a day just because you are in a small profit, then it's just useless. It's useless, guys. Trust me. So let us just get into let us get right into the chart. So as you can see over here, we have NZDJPY. And as you can see, my chart, it always has supports and resistance zones. Always. Over here, we have an uptrend, as you can see. We have zones that it could have executed on right there. Strong support levels right there for buys since it's an uptrend. You can see that higher low right there. That was a clean buy. As soon as it got to that higher low, after breaking the previous resistance, it came back to retest, and the market continued with buys. It was just bullish from there. As you can see, you have to mark those resistance zones and support levels so that when the market gets to that zone, creates a W, it's good to buy. You execute, you make money. Just like that. You see, that was a clean entry right there, guys. A clean entry. That was good to buy. As you can see. And as you can see, my stop loss is close and my take profit is far. You also have a resistance there. As you can see, the market came back to retest that resistance and became support. Remember, on an uptrend, you're looking for buying opportunities. And that is why there was a clean buy. So as I said, guys, vice versa for the sell. You have an uptrend right there. The market broke out of the uptrend. It retested that trend line. That is a sign of selling opportunities. That's where you execute sells and you just hold. As you can see, that is a clear selling opportunity right there. Clear selling opportunities. So if you miss that entry right there, you also have zones that you can execute on, especially the lower highs. As you can see, I've marked out my lower highs. Your lower highs are the entries. You see there you have a support. It broke that support. It came back to retest. It gave us a double top. That is a strong resistance right there. Good to enter. Clean sell. Clean sells, guys. You really don't have to complicate this thing. Wait for a trend. Wait for a lower high or a higher high or a higher low. Then execute. As you can see over there, we have a support level. The market broke below that support level and it came back to retest. It gave us multiple confirmation that it's bearish, and then that was a clean sell, as you can see. The market does the same thing again and again. You just have to make sure you execute again and again. Make sure you execute accurately. Alright. And as you can see, this is a clear downtrend because the market is trending towards the downside. Now imagine if you are buying on that downtrend. How many losses would you have took? Because a lot of people buy on downtrends instead of selling. Alright. The only time you look for buys is if the market breaks out of the trend. When the market is downtrending, that means the market is selling. There is a lot of bearish momentum. You wait for a breakout. Once it breaks out of that downtrend, that is the only signal for buys. That is the only signal for buys, because that means the market is changing direction. That means the market is changing direction. And as you can see, immediately after it broke out of that downtrend, the market shot straight up. Clean buys. Right? Same thing if the market is uptrending. You wait for a clean break and then you execute sells and target the next low. As you can see over here, the market is uptrending. It's creating higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and then it broke out of that uptrend. Immediately after the breakout, it went straight down. That is where you execute sells and you just target the next lows. As you can see, guys, the previous resistance is now a support because it broke above and came back to retest. The same thing it did here. It broke above, came back to retest, continued with buys, and then as you can see, the market got to the highest point it could get to. It started changing direction, and immediately after the breakout of the uptrend, we saw selling momentum over there, and that is a clear direction of sells right there. Market even gave us an inverse head and shoulder right there. That is a clear entry, clean entry right there. You can target the next lows right there after the breakout of the channel. Now guys, this is the beginner strategy. This is the beginner strategy. As much as a lot of people say it's easy, it's simple, I feel like it's the most powerful strategy ever. It's really powerful, guys, trust me. If you apply all of this correctly, if you apply support and resistance correctly, if you apply trend lines correctly, if you identify the trend correctly, apply higher highs, higher lows, breakouts, retest, then you're already better than the most that don't even know what is an uptrend or what is a higher high, what is a higher low. You know, you're at least 10 times better than them, because some people are just buying and selling and they don't even know why they're buying or selling. They're just guessing, and guessing doesn't work here. You have to know what you're doing, because you could be selling on an uptrend and you just keep losing money because the market is buying. Just because you see a support level doesn't mean that you should buy or sell. You have to wait for a proper confirmation. You have to make sure you are buying on an uptrend. You have to make sure you are selling on a downtrend. See. So I hope you guys understand everything I explained in this video. I hope it is clear, because as you can see, guys, once the market breaks out of a trend, executes. On a downtrend, if the market is at the bottom, you look for buys. You look for buys once it breaks out of the downtrend. As you can see, over here the market was also downtrending. It was trending towards the downside, creating lower highs and lower lows, and immediately after it broke out of the downtrend, the market started trending towards the upside. So as you can see over there, we have zones that were strong support right there. The market came back to broke below that strong support. It gave us a new resistance, and that is why the sales were clean right there. As you can see, you have a resistance right there. The market is still downtrending. It's still good to sell. Those are clean entries right there. And immediately after the market broke out of the downtrend, we started seeing a change of structure. So the market started to buy right after the breakout of the downtrend. We're seeing a breakout of that zone right there, and it came back to retest that zone, which was a clean buy. It was a clean buy right there. As you can see, that previous resistance right there was now our support level, and that was a clean buy entry right there, and the market just started trending towards the upside. Alright. Same thing, the market was trending towards the upside. It ended up breaking out of the uptrend. You execute sells. Alright. You execute sells. So, guys, I hope you have learned a lot in this video. This video is a bit longer than the one I made yesterday, mainly because I wanted to go deeper into the concepts of breakouts and retest, support and resistance, trend lines, uptrends, downtrends, everything explained in this video, guys. These are just the basics and the beginner strategy that we've used a few years ago. We are now trading using the advanced trading method, and I'll be explaining the advanced trading method in a few days or a few weeks. Hopefully you guys will be making money with this strategy, because the beginner strategy is mainly, it's just simple, guys. It's easy to understand. It's just basics. So I'll create a video soon whereby I explain the advanced trading method, and maybe if we get to, maybe 100 subscribers. Once we get to 100 subscribers, I'm dropping the advanced trading method. For now, I'll be dropping analysis almost maybe every day. I'll be dropping free analysis. We do use the advanced trading method when you analyze and execute, because you have to use the advanced trading method to find those accurate entries. For now, we'll just be providing basics. I'll just be sharing the basics. I'll be sharing setups. I hope you guys find your accounts, and I hope you guys are trading so that you make money with us. And guys, hopefully you guys will be profitable soon, because I didn't have anyone to explain all of this when I started trading. I paid a lot of mentors for this knowledge right here, and it took me years to get to the point whereby I could understand what is happening over here. But if you guys need a mentor, make sure you check my Instagram. I'll as you can see, I'll upload it right here. And send me a DM, guys, if you have any questions, if you need a PDF, if you need a one-on-one session with me. Make sure you contact me on IG, and I'll be glad to help you out. Thank you for watching until the end of the video. I'm signing out, guys.